Every night when you fall asleep, your soul leaves the body, and every night millions of souls fall victim to one single trap. They never return to the light. They return right back here. This is not a metaphor. This is the Demiurge's final trap. And you are his next target. He does not want your death. He wants your eternal servitude. He wants you to believe you are free. Today, the Archon Archives will tear back the veil. We will show you precisely how the Demiurge uses your own belief to imprison your soul in the cycle of reincarnation forever. We will reveal his final deception and the exact mechanism he deploys to force your voluntary return to the Matrix. This is not merely information. This is your one chance at true freedom. Watch until the end. Welcome to the Archon Archives. If you stayed with us, you have secured the first piece of crucial knowledge, understanding the rules of your confinement. This prison is not made of walls or bars. It is woven from reality itself. In the hidden texts discovered at Nag Hammadi, we find the clear, chilling answer to the question of the universe's beginning. It was not a grand act of divine love or flawless design. It was born from a cosmic disaster, an act of blind ignorance. We are speaking of the Demiurge. His name, Yaldabaoth, means son of chaos or the blind god, but his nature rather than his name defines him. The Demiurge is not absolute evil. He is the architect of the lower order. He is an entity that arose from a mistake made by the higher, pure energy that Gnostics name the Pleroma, the fullness. Imagine the supreme light, the Pleroma, as absolute perfection. From it emanate the aeons, divine beings. Yet, one aeon, Sophia, wisdom, created outside the sanctity of the Pleroma, acting without her consort. This isolated act, born of a lonely curiosity, birthed a chaotic, misshapen entity, the Demiurge. And this is the fundamental, terrifying detail. The Demiurge is inherently blind. He cannot perceive the Pleroma, the true light from which he came. He genuinely believes that he is the only God. His famous boast, "I am a jealous God, and there is no God beside me," is not a declaration of omnipotence, but an admission of his limitation. He rules as a jealous dictator because he fears someone will discover the existence of a greater light above him. And so, he fashioned our world, the Kenoma, the material void, as a meticulous copy of his own limited mind. He created Earth, the solar system, and all its laws, not for our joy, but as a perfect closed circuit under his governance. The singular purpose of this entire system is to contain the spark. A fragment of the supreme light, a portion of Sophia, resides within each of us, a fragment the Demiurge could not annihilate. He cannot destroy it, but he can force it to forget. And this is the prime directive of his military structure, the Archons. They are the bureaucrats of the cosmic prison, the overseers who strictly enforce the order of the Kenoma and systematically prevent the spark from ever remembering its divine origin. Before we detail his planetary overseers, you must grasp the full scale of this disaster. Your entire perceived reality, which you call life, nature, and law, is not a creation of love, but a byproduct of a cosmic flaw. And that flaw is actively working against your eventual liberation. If the Demiurge is the architect and the ultimate dictator, the Archons are his administrative army. They are known as the rulers or the governors. Their function is to meticulously ensure that nothing impure, meaning nothing of the Pleroma, penetrates the order of the Kenoma, our world. They are the 7 chief controllers, each aligned with a planet in the solar system, and each one exercises dominion over a specific function of the human psyche, collectively forming Hymarmene, or the illusion of fate. First, the Archon of Saturn, the oldest, ruling over fear, time, and restriction. He draws the lines of limitation. You cannot. You are too late. You must obey. This Archon implants the belief that freedom is an illusion, and that the highest goal is submission. What is interpreted in astrology as karmic debt is, to the Gnostics, a set of chains the Demiurge cast upon your past and your future. Next, the Archon of Jupiter. He carries false knowledge and dogma. He compels you to believe in grand yet empty ideas, political ideologies, religious institutions that promise salvation through external rituals rather than through the internal truth. He creates hierarchies that divert your focus away from the single source of freedom, the Gnosis within you. The Archon of Mars embodies raw, indiscriminate aggression and anger. He is responsible for wars, conflicts, and the constant feeling of me against the world. His job is to keep you in a state of struggle, denying you peace and preventing you from focusing on inner growth. The Archon of the Sun is particularly cunning, governing false glory and ego. He forces you to seek external validation, power, and praise. Every time you yearn to be superior to others, when you strive for status over substance, you pay tribute to this Archon. He turns your spiritual spark into a narcissistic ego, which is too busy with its own grandeur to search for the truth. The Archon of Venus is the master of lower desires and addiction. He prevents you from transcending the cycle of pleasure and pain. He ties the soul to the physical body through an endless craving, be it for food, luxury, or carnal pleasures. This is not sin, but a powerful distraction that consumes the energy of the spark. The Archon of Mercury represents logic divorced from spirit. He commands the flow of information yet prohibits wisdom. He creates systems and languages that can analyze the world, but never truly comprehend it, convincing your mind that reality is only what can be measured, thus sealing off the metaphysical. And finally, the Archon of the Moon. Her sphere is instincts, illusions, and rebirth. She governs life and death itself, compelling the soul to return to the cycle again and again, using powerful emotional anchors and survival instincts. But here is the archontic deception. They are not physically present. They are not monsters of flesh. They are programs that you activate within yourself. When you feel debilitating fear, you are ruled by Saturn. When you engage in endless arguments, you are ruled by Mars. The Archons are your ego masquerading as your authentic personality. Their collective task is to manufacture hymarmene, what appears to be fate, but is in fact a pre-programmed, repeating cycle that prevents your soul from escaping the Kenoma. But this is still not the final trap. All of this control is merely the preparation for the ultimate deception, the harvest. In the next block, we will reveal the Demiurge's most subtle, most dangerous lie, the one that awaits your soul at the moment of transition. We established that the Archons are the overseers who manage your emotions and time to keep you within the cycle of hymarmene, but all of that is merely the preamble to the final trap. The greatest terror awaits you, not in life, but at the very moment of death. And this trap is entirely psychological. Unlike the true godlight, the Demiurge is a blind counterfeiter. He cannot truly save. He can only copy and distort. He cannot grant true salvation, but he can simulate it. The secret of the Demiurge is that he lacks absolute authority over the spiritual spark. The spark is from the Pleroma, a realm beyond his control. He cannot destroy it, but he can compel it to consent to stay. Your belief in his systems, your deeply held expectation of a savior or a heavenly paradise that he promises, becomes the voluntary contract you sign during your passage. You look for a familiar light, a familiar voice, and it will be provided. The Archons expertly craft a perfect duplicate of your expected heavenly reward. This is his harvest. The soul, freed from the body but not from the programming, is guided towards what it believed in. There it is met by a false guide, a simulated angel, who gently convinces it, you are not yet complete. You must return to atone for your failures in the next cycle, or this is your earned rest. Wait here until we return you for vital work. This promised rest or paradise is nothing more than a carefully controlled holding zone for rapid reincarnation. Gnostic scriptures describe this post-mortem process in agonizing detail. The departing soul begins its transit through the archontic spheres. As it passes each planetary layer, the Archons demand a toll, a portion of their energy. The Archon of Mars demands all accumulated aggression. The Archon of Venus requires your greed and lower desires. If the soul has not realized that these traits were merely a program, not its true nature, it is forced to surrender that energy. The soul is momentarily lightened, but not free. The most dangerous barrier is the false light. Imagine being welcomed by a supremely loving being, calling itself your ancestor, your guide, or your savior. But this light is not the light of the Pleroma. It is the Demiurge's emanation, his most powerful, most convincing lie. This entity offers peace, healing, and the urgent command to return soon to fulfill a higher purpose. This purpose is the mandate for reincarnation, to generate more energy for the Archons. The crucial final secret: the Archons thrive on both low-grade suffering, fear, anger, and the high-grade energy lost to blind belief. Belief, when misdirected, diverts the spiritual energy you need for true Gnosis. If the soul, blinded by the false god's promise, willingly submits to the angel and enters the cycle, It relinquishes its right to transmit to the Pleroma. It agrees to a reboot. All lessons, all personal growth, wiped clean. The spark is immediately routed back into a new body, a new prison, to resume energy production. The key to breaking this final trap: you must not look for a savior to pull you out. You must become the conductor yourself. You must possess the pure, unfiltered gnosis that allows you to recognize the false light and pass straight through it, rejecting its familiar comfort. We have exposed the final deception. The Archons do not need a cage. They simply need your consent to re-enter it. But recognizing the prison is not the same as holding the key. That key is named Gnosis, or pure inner knowledge. The Archons operate on the principle of belief, faith in external systems and promised saviors. Gnosis, however, requires knowing. It is a direct, unmediated awareness of the spark within you and its true origin in the Pleroma. To escape the harvest, you must implement the Gnostic protocol during your final transit. First, you must recognize the archontic deception in this life. Practice recognizing the programs. Identify the fear, Saturn, the aggressive ego, Mars, and the insatiable desire, Venus. When you see them, you acknowledge them as foreign programs, not your divine self. This is how you reclaim the energy the Archons demand. Second, you must memorize the anti-code. The ancient Gnostics understood that the Archons would bombard the departing soul with images, sounds, and temptations. They would ask for identification or demand passwords. The key is to refuse all of it. You must reject the dialogue. When the false light appears, when the false guide greets you, your only response must be the utter and complete rejection of the system's comfort. You must state, "I am not of you. I belong to the light of the Pleroma. I seek only the Father of all." No matter how loving the false guide appears, you must move past them. The Archons only have power over that which they have programmed. They have no power over the unconditional gnosis that burns within your spark. Third, you must align with Sophia. The Gnostic myth tells us that Sophia, the grieving mother of the Demiurge, sent fragments of herself, the spiritual sparks, into this world to remind us of the Pleroma. When you seek gnosis, you are aligning with her light. This light is your true guide. It is a quiet inner pull, not a massive blinding flash. It is the wisdom that whispers, "Know thyself." Your freedom is not granted, it is earned through knowledge. The journey through the Archon Archives is long, and the secrets of the Demiurge run deeper than you can imagine. To arm your soul, you must continue to seek the tools of liberation. Do not allow your search for truth to become another form of submission. If you are ready to reject the matrix, if you are ready to prepare for your final, true transit and discover the codes to escape the great archontic cycle, then it is your command. Subscribe to the Archon Archives. We will continue to dismantle the systems of control, one archive at a time. The next file we open will detail the true identity of the false light, a deep dive into the specific characteristics you must memorize to pass the final deception. Press the bell, share this truth with others who seek to know, and let the Gnosis guide your way.